When it comes to developmental delays in children, there are three main frustrations that we have as experts and specialists in neurodevelopment that I bet frustrate you too as a parent. First, the vast majority of flags and real root causes of developmental delays are frequently and often entirely missed by the conventional pediatrician. Second, even when the delays with gross motor development, fine motor skills, speech or sensory, social, and behavioral issues show up, and a referral is made to early intervention and so forth, there is still no one provider who can help the parents make sense of what's going on and tie everything together. And third, when a child is already going through a full complement of traditional therapies but failing to make progress, reaching plateaus, and still struggling, parents don't know where to turn to find out what's going on and what else can be done to help. According to the CDC, approximately 1 in 6 children in the United States has a developmental disability or delay. And I can tell you firsthand from clinical experience, about 6 out of 6 of us worry about our child's development and keep a close eye over every single thing from tummy time to when they roll over, when they sit up, when they walk, when they talk, and so much more. Unfortunately, for as much as we rightfully worry and keep a close eye on things during these critical developmental stages for our children, it seems like again and again, any concerns that we have are often dismissed by our conventional pediatrician, and we're just told, don't worry, they'll grow out of it, when deep down we know that's probably not true. Sadly, we're seeing an explosion in the rates of developmental delays in today's highly stressed and highly toxic world that our kids are growing up in, and that 1 in 6 number mentioned before really doesn't do it justice for how many infants and toddlers we truly see off track with their motor milestones, sensory processing, speech, and so much more each day in our office. Even if you've already received a diagnosis or referral of some sort and have started traditional therapies like PT, OT, and speech, this video is for you. Every day, parents report to us that they're happy to have their child in these therapies, but they're concerned that they've plateaued or they're not progressing at the speed or pace that they'd like. If that sounds like you, then this video is especially made for you. Parents deserve to know more, and they deserve to know the truth about developmental delays. Let's dig in and deliver exactly that for your family with this video. I first want to tell you a story about a little girl named JoJo. When JoJo first got started with care, her development, this was last year, her development was a mess. She had faced all sorts of obstacles in her development with a stressful pregnancy, emergency C-section delivery, torticollis, constipation, eczema, and to top things off, she had a genetic heart and neurological condition that required surgery as an infant, multiple medications, and also had led to a seizure disorder in medications that she was battling as well. So many things for such a tiny person. Add all that up, and it took a toll on her development. Despite being quite involved in PT, OT, and speech, she wasn't making much progress at all until she started to get adjusted, and then things took off. As her neurological function and motor tone and coordination improved with each and every adjustment, her development started to surge. She was able to sit up and utilize her core so much more, then crawling and climbing stairs, and now recently taking her first unassisted steps walking and having her speech and communication explode as well. This rock star has a ways to developmentally to finish catching up to her peers, but without chiropractic care, she'd still be stuck and struggling with developmental milestones and facing a limited quality of life that simply isn't fair to her or her family. Now they get to see her smile, soar, and thrive as she keeps getting adjusted and keeps making progress. So what is holding kids back? Developmental delays aren't just random occurrences or genetic bad luck. There are 3 main factors that we see almost every single time in children with developmental delays, and we call them the perfect storm: fertility challenges and prenatal stress, birth trauma and interventions, and early exposure to antibiotics and other environmental toxins. First, let's talk about the birth trauma, brainstem, and that air traffic control connection. Common interventions like forceps, vacuum extraction, C-sections can cause physical injury and damage to the brainstem, neurospinal system, and vagus nerve. Both the autonomic and central nervous system have their air traffic control in the head, neck, and brainstem region, which is directly responsible for essential developmental functions like motor planning, tone, coordination, and sensory processing. These physical birth injuries lead to subluxation, dysregulation, and dysautonomia. So, why do traditional approaches often plateau or don't achieve full progress? PTs, OTs, speech therapists are trained to assess the muscles and soft tissues, not necessarily the neurological function and the brainstem or neurological function of the system. So they often miss the underlying neurological dysfunction and subluxation that is the real root cause of the developmental delays and missed motor milestones. This explains why progress is often stalled despite various interventions. Now, we work with some awesome PTs, OTs, and speech that we have personally talked to that can spot some of this stuff and know when this is a good time to start looking at the neurological system. When we talk about the foundation of development, it really starts with proper nervous system function. Here is a pyramid that we're going to go through together. That proper nervous system function is that basis. Even seemingly simple milestones like crawling play a crucial role. So, after we have that autonomic nervous system as the base, then we move into the neuromotor system, helping the neurological system start moving the body. Then we go into gut and immune function and that brain base or that emotional piece. So when we look at where we can see some of those stressors come in these different levels, that bottom level is first going to have that maternal or pregnancy distress. Then as we move up, we're going to get into that more of that motor system. So a breech birth, birth trauma, falls or poor posture in young childhood. Moving up into that gut and immune system, that's where toxins, chemicals, preservatives, all of those environmental toxins that we're always exposed to come into play. And then we move up into that brain base or that social emotional, where we talk about technology and school differences, emotions, all of that. But you can see that these pieces build on each other. So if we start with that distress during pregnancy, and then we add in a traumatic birth, and then we add in those environmental toxins, and then we can see how some of that technology might affect the brain, this all builds up and snowballs. So some of the first things that we can start addressing with that foundation is that neurologically focused chiropractic. And we need to work with the foundation first to help affect everything else on top of it. Then, even with the neurologically focused chiropractic care, we want the body to catch up. So if we have some of those motor delays, then we're going to look at PT, OT, speech therapy. If we're having some gut stuff going on, we're going to look at that functional medicine microbiome, look at a detox, all of the supplements, there's tons of different things we can do there. And then that final step up top is if we're still having some emotional regulation, some social interactions, that's when we talk about therapy or psych. And unfortunately, a lot of people start from the top and go all the way down, starting at the tip of the iceberg instead of going all the way down to the bottom. So medications start first and then functional, and you're doing all of these things on top of a nervous system that cannot function well to begin with. So, skipping milestones can impact future development. We want to make sure that if you've tried, if you have tried to do other things, that we start to look at that foundation. If you're tired of watching your child struggle and feeling like something is missing in their care, it's time to consider a different approach. At Generations Chiropractic, we specialize in neurologically focused chiropractic care that addresses the root causes of developmental delays, subluxation, nervous system dysfunction, and dysregulation. We use cutting-edge technology called the Insight scans to actually measure and find your child's exact level, location, and severity of subluxation and neurological dysfunction, so you know exactly what's holding them back developmentally. To really know what's going on with your child, you've got to get these insight scans ran so you're no longer left guessing, but can address the root cause right at its core. Don't wait to take action. Infants and young children are developing at a rapid rate, and every month that their developmental delays remain can hold them back in major ways. You can visit our website or click the link in our bio on Instagram to schedule a consultation and insight scan for your child. Let's work together to unlock your child's developmental potential and set them on the path to thriving, not just surviving. Remember, your child's future isn't set in stone. With the right support and understanding of the root causes, remarkable progress can be made. Reach out today to learn more about how we can help your child overcome their developmental challenges.